Manhattan, Delgado Syndicate. A year earlier. Leticia. Okay, but Auntie, I don't understand why you're sending me, and I definitely don't get why you would send Gay, of all people, with me, I complained, and my Aunt Maria glared at me. I knew she literally hated me because of my mother, and Gayla because of her father, but surely she wouldn't be this evil to send me across the world to one of the most notorious crime princes next to the Boraskovas. I need eyes there. And men ignore a beautiful woman. I'm sending two. I know those fucks are trying to cut me out, mainly because I'm a woman. Dimitri might be married to Selena, but he is Bratva first. As well, we may hold ties to the O'Malley clan because Letty married him as well, but Bram has yet to acknowledge those ties. Bram O'Malley would fuck us in an NYC minute if he thought he could get away with it. I need ties to Oslo's fucking ass, cementing us on all three sides. And if you or Gayla can get it, then so be it. Maria snapped, and now I glared at her. But I tried for a second time when she hissed at me, then sat the Glock on the desk. I could never understand how my uncle married this crazy bitch in the first place after his wife Kalisa, Selena's mother, killed herself. I swore it was why his sisters beside my mom defected. But from nearly birth, she made Gay, and I paid for what she saw as our parents' betrayal. My mom, the church. My two aunts' normal fucking life because they refused to enter the organization, even at the behest of a bullet. My uncle Renoir, the Russians. My uncle Enrique, the Japanese. And my uncle Xavier, actually in Colombia, and he rarely ventured to the U.S. unless something was seriously wrong. But most of the family left because of this crazy bitch, and the fact that Uncle Gabriel allowed her to run wild before his death was still beyond me. She wasn't a Delgado by birth, but she ran this family like she thought she was. There were 8 original Delgado siblings, and my only aunt Contessa continued to sit the head of the organization. Everyone else left because of this bitch, and the fact that most knew they would have to kill her, and they wanted no parts in taking over the organization. And my aunt Contessa was pushing 80, so she factually didn't give a fuck anymore. My only silver lining was that my sister Adai pledged her life to God by joining a fucking convent. I exhaled, then glared at her once more. I wasn't afraid of her per se, more what she could have done to me. That would be far worse than a bullet to the head. One of her men tossed a kicking, scratching, and screaming Gayla into the room then, and I moaned my frustration. Gay was barely fucking 18 years old, so she didn't know shit about this life. And the saddest part is due to the fact that her father worked for the Japanese Syndicate. He couldn't do shit to help her because he'd cut ties. I walked to her, jerked her into my body, and hissed stop. She did, then buried her face in my neck, sobbing silently. My Aunt Maria smirked, so I knew as usual this was punishment for her joy. Fine, Maria, when are we to leave? I spat, and she smiled wider. For 31 years, I couldn't stomach this bitch. I used to think she was a boss. That from since the time Gabe became king till now, she pretty much ran this shit, creating ties that the elder Delgados never dreamed could happen in a million years. From what I knew, her father was king of the Montenegro Syndicate, was killed in a Colombian ambush. She stepped up, had the president of Colombia's son killed, and for 35 years she'd done that shit running his organization until she met Uncle Gabriel. When she married Gabe, she figured she'd finally set the Delgados on the map until she realized Gabe had his own plans. Fuck the Boraskovas, and Dimitri took that from his ass. And whatever the Lower Secund Council might have been able to do to help her with those ties went to pot when Dimitri killed them all and crowned himself fucking king of all, leaving only the Prima to deal with, and they saw no one but each king of all for each region. I'd laughed for an entire fucking week because Dimitri's ass was fucking crazy, and even crazier still was the fact that he was married to my cousin Lena. Lena, Addie, and I had grown up together. I'd never met a more decent person than Lena, and she'd actually gotten out of this shit until Uncle Gabe fucked her and the Russian claimed a blood tie. I exhaled noisily, then scowled at Maria. In an hour, Maria sat back, and I growled. Gayla burst into tears, and I inhaled deeply. I would fucking be responsible for Gayla from this point on. Lo que sé, Maria, siempre fuiste una puta en fin. Whatever, Maria. You were always a fucking bitch anyway, I said when she laughed hard. And you remember that, Manuela. Así que me odesto. So don't fuck with me, Maria spat. I glowered at her for a second time, then pulled the weeping Gala from the room.